Hello everybody, my name is Ben, and welcome back to Le Mans Ultimate. Today we are again back at Mount Fuji, trying to go for my first race win here in Le Mans Ultimate. And today is going to be a pretty interesting race. It's going to be a lot better than the last one, but I sadly do make a very, I wouldn't say stupid mistake, it's honestly just an honest mistake. But we'll get to it when the time comes. But for the beginning of this race, it's actually quite a good start. We are starting back here in 7th place in the Mercedes AMG. I'm starting to drive this instead of the Mustang. I think I like it a lot more in terms of visibility wise. And behind a BMW, dreaded BMW, who I have a bad reputation with racing against because BMWs are honestly quite scary at times on the road. But this guy, he was different, and I'm already quite scared of him, but there is nothing to really fear about it. Anyways, coming down into turn 1, pretty hectic as it always is, especially with these big braking zones at these tracks, but luckily we get through there quite cleanly, and I am able to make up one position in the start of the race. I'm now side by side with another Mercedes, and Aston Martin, who is going to go right ahead of me. He gets a much better exit out of turn 1 due to his positioning. And here I get a little scared of that BMW in my rear view because I thought he was going to send it because that's what BMW drivers usually do. But little did I know, this guy is actually a lot different than most other BMW drivers. Anyways, coming down into this left-hander at the bottom of this hill. This one's very tricky to get right. I am going to go way over the curb, way more than I should. But that should give me a better exit than the Aston Martin and the other Mercedes, who didn't get the best exit because they went too wide into the turn, which is not optimal at all. Anyways, coming down to the hairpin, and I am going to get right around side. I'm going to go try to switch back right behind the Aston Martin to get good exits, and back up the hill. Coming up right onto what was I saying? I don't know. But sitting comfortably now in 6th place. And this is where we're going to sit all the way up until we come back down into the first turn. So first lap, unlike my last race I did here, completely clean. Didn't have to deal with anyone jumping across the entire track surface and using cars as bowling pins. Now coming into turn 1 on the second lap, Aston Martin here is going to go defensive, and I'm going to try to hang on around the outside, but I let him go by on the inside so I can snake in right behind them. And we also got this McLaren deep down on the inside, which is going to put me in a very awkward spot, but I'm going to do for a little bit of a lunge here on this McLaren into turn number 2. I mean, not McLaren, Aston Martin, but he's going to go wide onto the rumble strips and keep that position. Kind of have to jump out the way of this McLaren through this long right-hander. It was a good move, but pretty aggressive, but I did have to duck if I didn't want to get smacked into there. Coming down into the hairpin yet again, gonna get right up onto the butt of this McLaren in front, and get a nice, not the best line, I'm gonna be completely honest, through that curb. You optimally want to go completely over the curb there, but a little bit late on the brakes. Coming up through the uphill section of the track, we're gonna have a Lexus go off track. Luckily, he doesn't unsafely rejoin, and we're able to just get right on by him. Now, after getting a terrible exit out of the last turn, this Lexus is going to be able to easily send a nice dive bomb up my inside here, and that's going to put me back down into 7th place. Now, luckily, my braking here down into the hairpin is going to make me up a bunch of time onto the cars in front for this final uphill section of Fuji, and I'm going to try to get as much time in as I can on these cars in front in order to try to make an overtake happen into the first turn. Now, I did not get the best exit again out of the last turn. I am very bad at the exit here, and it is like probably the most important turn to get right because of the exit speed that you get onto this massive front stretch. But here's where a little bit of carnage kicks off, and I'm not sure whose fault it was. I actually didn't go back into the replay because it didn't really involve me being at fault. But we're going to learn an important lesson here on why when you spin, you hold the brakes and don't drive directly back onto the racing line like this Corvette did. He just just drove right onto the racing line after spinning out, and I am going to take some front end damage there. But this McLaren ahead, actually not the McLaren ahead, I believe the Lexus, or what was it? I forget. What is that out there? That's not a Lexus. Another Mercedes out ahead spins off into the second corner, and I'm able to make up another position, putting me up to 5th. Coming around now, the outside is McLaren. He is obviously damaged, or I don't know, his tires are overheated from that wreck maybe. And I'm able to make a move up his inside here and get a much better exit than him. But now I got this BMW on my left side, and he is going to try to make a move up the inside, coming down into the hairpin, because he is going to switch back over and send a dive straight up the inside. Great move. I'm going to switch back right behind him to keep good exit speed. We're going to give him a little bit of a love tap right in the back. Now skipping ahead a little bit to lap 6, we're going to have this Lexus coming out of the pit lane. Luckily he was not going to be any trouble. I thought he was at first, because usually cars coming out of the pit lane are. But here we gain another position up to 4th after another car spins out. So up to lap 7 here, and this is where I'm going to make my mistake going on to lap 8. I have this BMW in front, and I am in his slipstream coming down into the first turn. And this is where I sort of just, I don't know what I do here. I brake a little bit late, or he braked a little too much. I think I braked just a little bit late because I had a lot more speed than I usually do coming down into turn 1 because of the slipstream. But because of it, I gave a little tap to the back of the BMW, and I didn't want to go past him with a tap, but he doesn't go fully over to the side of the circuit, and I do spin him out. I do give him time to go back in front because I don't want to take that position. I just felt dirty going like that, and I knew I did something wrong. So I give him the spot, and I didn't want to gain 3rd place like that. I just feel like it's pretty messed up spinning somebody and then taking the podium position. It was definitely my fault on the wreck. I did bump into the back of him, and I probably should have just gone by him and not waited for him to turn in. But yeah, I would like to know what you guys think of that one. And here's a little exterior angle. As you can see, I try to let him go by, but he just sort of turns a little bit back in more than I thought he did. I mean, I thought he would, because he sort of just, I don't know. You can see he doesn't fully use all the track over there, and I just go into him. But I did just kind of drive into the side of him there. Sadly, after that, nothing else really happened for the rest of the few laps of this race, and I finished just above where I started in 6th place, even after everything that had gone down. I definitely wish I had not driven into the back of him, because I feel like I definitely could have taken the position and had a good fight. But at the end of the day, I do end up apologizing for him, and he says, "It's no worries, it happens," which is definitely good sportsmanship on his part. And here are the race results. Made up 1 position and did gain a decent amount of safety rating even despite the crash. As always, if you guys enjoyed, please make sure to like and subscribe. I'm going to try to post daily, and I'll see you guys in the next one.